since Emily Mitchell was established as Katie in the beginning of the film, did you guys both work collaboratively on the character or was it mostly pre-scripted?
I don't think that I've ever actually been asked that, which is really interesting because I think she came to set after I had already been there for like 2 months. It was a long
Oh,
shoot.
wow.
And we were filming a lot of like the third act. So I was trying to not be around the kids a lot because I felt like my makeup was really scary. Even in broad daylight, it was just very jarring. Like the little boy that played young Seb did not want to get near me. So I didn't really interact with them as much as I maybe would have wanted to. And I also felt like her character is so completely different than when I come back that
Mhm.
it worked because we wanted to feel that distinct change.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, great. Because that actually like answers quite a few of my other questions, but we can kind of like maybe go more into detail about some of those things. But yeah, that makes total sense because, like you said, they're completely different. It's just like a completely like separation of character because it's almost like you were possessed by an entity, so it's not even really fully Katie.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I thought of it because in my mind, Katie still has the thought process of she would have been around 8, but also more than half of her brain is overtaken by the Nasmaranian, the thing that possesses her, the demon.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a balancing act, but
Right.
I do think it probably would have been interesting to have like a couple conversations with her because I kind of based like the 8-year-old mindset just off of how I thought when I was little. Because if she's been in a coma for that long, she's not gonna
Right.
have any like she's not gonna develop at
Yes.
all
Yeah, that makes
mentally.
a lot of sense. So you kind of like put yourself into the mindset of her still being 8.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
But
Okay.
also having like these crazy intrusive thoughts of the demon,
Yep.
which is, as we know, probably thousands, million year old
Right.
thing. So it has a more mature thought process
Mhm.
that kind of overtakes her. And if you think of her brain as like she's in the very back, and sometimes she has control over it a
Mhm.
few times in the movie, but for the most part, the demon is just like overtaken
Right.
the
Yeah,
rest of it.
that makes a lot of sense, and I kind of didn't even think about that, so I'm glad that we chatted and dove into that a little bit. That makes your character and, like, the story even more interesting to think about it like that.
Yay!
When Katie was being unveiled inside the sarcophagus, was that you the entire time, or did they have, like, a stunt double or, like, a dummy in there?
I wish they would've, 'cause I found out that I'm extremely claustrophobic
Yeah.
only after they completely wrapped me up, wrapped my face up. I ended up asking them, I was like, "Is there any way we can, like, leave the face ones off for, like, right until we start filming?"
Yeah.
'Cause I mentally am just, like,
It's
freaking out.
too
I mean,
much, yeah.
and they smelled so strongly of leather
Mm.
that it kind of felt like I could breathe fine, but it felt my brain was thinking like, "You're suffocating right now, you can't breathe."
Yeah.
And then like this scene that you see is just me having a panic attack. It's not really acting. People
Oh.
have told me that like it's really good acting and whatnot. Yeah, it definitely is like method, all the way method.
Wow.
It's like, because they tied my wrists and my ankles too, and I could have easily like gotten out of it, but I think it was just the process of being so contained like that,
Yeah.
and then having no like the set was pretty empty, so I felt very isolated and like if I need to get up right now, it would take a while, and I feel very restrained.
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, like you said, you had the makeup, probably like like any prosthetics or anything on
Yeah,
at the time. Yeah.
whole body.
Yes, plus like all the wrappings and also inside of a sarcophagus. So that's like a lot of layers and like a sensory nightmare kind of. Yeah.
It really
Yeah.
was. It really was. I think we only did 2 takes of that because they were like, "Well, we got what we needed," and I was like, "Yeah, yeah, I would hope so." So I'm not doing that again.
Yeah, because like, I rewatched, The Mummy again not too long ago, and that scene really like, it feels so real, so knowing that, you're like, "Yeah, girl, it was real," so that's pretty crazy. I know that you had kind of mentioned that you didn't really talk to any of the cast or anything beforehand, correct?
Mm.
Like, before you were
Yeah.
introduced? So, because my other question was, were you allowed to connect with the family prior to being reintroduced, to convey that foreign feeling? But you said no, so that
Mhm.
probably helped a lot, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was there a month before everybody else for
Mhm.
training because I did all my own stunts. So we had to do stunt training like 5 days a week. And I I would have lots of meetings with Lee just about the character
Uh-huh.
and the physical, like the wrist movement and everything. We wanted to get specific. I think they all got there like the last week of March, and I had been there all of March.
Uh-huh.
And I was really only supposed to be like, hey, nice to meet you, and then kind of like not interact with them at all until the table read. But even when we did the table read, Lee moved me from sitting with his siblings and made me sit next to him on the opposite end of the table and was like, this is where it starts. Like,
Mhm.
she is not a part of the family, and no one was allowed to see my makeup. That was all very, like, we had to do a camera test
Mhm.
while they were filming other scenes from the beginning of the movie, and they, like, completely hid me. I had to walk around the set very sneakily so that no one could see me. I think Jack was the only one, the dad. They ought to actually see me in the makeup, but they wanted everyone's reactions to be really raw. The first scene we ended up filming when I'm in the makeup is when I get home and I'm in the wheelchair, and I remember they rolled me in the wheelchair. Veronica and Laya, so the grandma and the mom, they both like immediately started sobbing because it's just very visceral for them to see me in that makeup
Right.
and just looking so rotten. But yeah, I was kept isolated for about a month. And then after that, it threw me off because I was allowed to hang out with them on the weekends, like if I wanted to.
Uh-huh.
But part of me was also like, if I do that, I don't want to get too connected with them and then not be able to play the role to the best of my abilities. So I definitely went a little bit method with the isolation.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes total sense. I don't even know how different it would look, but I can assume that it would look a lot different if you had more time spent with them because you are supposed to be not, like completely different than what she was when she was 8. So, before this happened to you. So that makes a lot of sense. And it's really cool that they think that far ahead about the character and like how it's going to help or make or break your performance. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that. What was your favorite scene to film?
Any of Act 3, just because it was so stunt heavy. I remember there was one day that Lee is very well known for rewriting scenes in the middle of the night, and then you get there in the morning and it's a completely different scene that you've never heard of. So it really keeps people on their toes. But it also adds like a lot of creative excitement on set. I don't know. I would always just feel like, okay, this is this new thing. Like the part where I run and jump on top of Jack and start like head banging into him, I learned that the day that we filmed it. And I had to learn that like entire sequence. And I just remember like I started off being really stressed and scared because I was like, this is so much. And I am not trained to be doing this. I don't know how I'm going to do any of this. And then just throughout the day, I figured it all out somehow. And it kind of gave me like a confidence boost. So I'd say that.
Yeah. Yeah, I like being a little bit prepared, but I do feel like if you kind of have something that is thrown at you, it's almost more of a raw reaction. So, do you feel like even though there was those rewrites that it kind of helped you in that way? Or
Oh, yeah.
yeah?
I didn't even think that it would, I don't know. It kind of impacted the character on its own too. Like, I feel like it really helped me stay in the character. And because I had that month before we started the actual filming process, I was just so locked in that they could throw anything at me and it would take me like 30 minutes to figure out at most. Like, I just was very involved and embodied in the character, and I wanted to do whatever Lee had. Like, whenever he had an idea, I think we were kind of on like the same wavelength about everything. So I could almost guess what he was going to say or what he was going to
Mhm.
change.
Yeah. Yeah, because you guys were, like, collaboratively kind of working on the project as it was going, and if something kinda came up and you're like, "This doesn't feel right," then you were able to kind of just, like, work that in the moment, and I do feel like that helps, like, an art project because you can almost, like, only prepare so much in advance, and then once you actually get going, those things I feel like can really help boost the project and make it more raw and natural. So I bet that
Oh, yeah.
that does help a lot. Then this kind of helps segue into the next question, which is like, what was it like working with Lee Cronin?
It was so fun. I would say, I don't know, I didn't expect it to be what it was at all. He's so communicative. He loved this, like, he's very much an actor's director because the schedule was so packed and so busy. It was almost an 80-day shoot, and he would always take the time to have a conversation with me. If I had any questions, if I had ideas, he wanted to listen and he wanted to have discussions about them. And that's so important to me because, like, as an actor, I need to have that open dialogue 24/7 with the director so that I know that what I am creating and performing is what they have in their brains. And I never felt like we were on different ideas. Like, we were always on the same page, always on the same wavelengths. It was almost like I could just like think something and it would just be like, okay, yeah, like we didn't even have to talk. He'd just be like, you know what to do.
Mhm.
And then we would get it in like 2 takes and it'd be done. It was crazy.
Yeah. So then do you feel like, because I know I looked into some of your prior work that you did, so do you feel like this movie helped kind of, like, open up any new, like, pathways for your acting and just made you feel, like, more confident going into other projects?
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, whatever I do next is gonna be 10 times easier, first off. I remember someone, and I can't remember who said this, but they were like, "You have just experienced 10 years of the industry in these 4 months that we've been filming,"
Yeah.
because the prosthetics, the character, how dark it was, the character work that I had to do, the physicality of it all, the stunts, like, the long hours. The makeup would take 8 to 10 hours, and then I would go and work another 10 hours, so my days were very long,
Mhm.
but it created such a passion for that. I would do prosthetics again. I want to.
Yeah.
Whatever film I do next, I really want to do more stunts. It opened up so many different options for me that I didn't know that I could have as an actress. Like I didn't know I could do any of this.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that this project gave you that confidence and, opened up your skill set and was able to, like, really show you what you were able to do because, I mean,
Yeah.
you really killed it, like, honestly.
Thank you.
Of
Thank
course.
you.
Yeah. I was going to ask you if the other child actors were scared of you while you were in the makeup, but I know that you kind of talked about that. But do you wanna, like, go into that a little bit more?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, okay, Billy wasn't at all. Billy plays my little sister. She was not scared of me. There's pictures of me and her picking flowers and making flower crowns and like running around. I would try to hang out with them as much as I could. Shiloh, Seb, he wasn't scared either, but he's older.
Mhm.
I would say the two younger ones, they were Emily not so much because she was kind of me, so she knew and she had to go through the whole transformation scene, so she
Mhm.
kind of had an idea of how it was.
Yeah.
The little guy was he was very scared. I remember they wanted to take pictures with me. The moms wanted them to take pictures and he would not get near me.
Oh,
And I
no.
felt so bad because it was also when I was in like the most amount of makeup possible, covered in blood,
Mm.
in my pink sandals with my like pink robe on, but I look like so demonic.
Uh-huh.
I'm also didn't have my wig on yet, so I'm bald. I probably look crazy.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh, that's freaking hilarious. And I love that they like let you wear your little pink robe and your flippers or whatever. That's so funny. I really was interested in knowing more about like your audition process and like did you know what specific role that you were auditioning for at all?
I could have if I would have read into it more because it literally said on the sides, Katie is now the risen mummy. But
Okay.
I had two other auditions that I was just like so fixated on. I was like, oh my gosh, because I knew the story of those two. I was
Mhm.
like, I'm going to book these. I need to focus on these. So I got this and I was like, demon, like I can't be a demon. I don't know how to play possessed. Sure, like I guess I'll do it. Because I'm never gonna turn down an audition.
Yeah.
It was two scenes. The one scene where I hit my grandma in the nose from
Mm.
like I fling up from the bed and then have to start like having a catatonic episode basically. And then they wanted 30 seconds of facial expressions and the scene where I talk to Maud through the door and then
Mm.
possess her.
Okay.
In both of those scenes, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this at all. And if you watch the tape, it's so drastically different than what the character is like in the movie. It's so interesting. But I can see what they saw in it to then book me off of it. Because right after I filmed it, I got a call back 2 days later, I want to say. And then the day of the callback, they asked me, I think it was like a Wednesday, and they asked me to be in Ireland by Friday to have a meeting with Lee. And I was like, about what? Like, I thought going into it, I'm gonna be up against 4 other actresses, like,
Mhm.
this is a callback, but why are they sending me to a different country? Like, what's going on? And then I go there, I meet with him. I remember walking into the studio and, like, shaking because 'cause I've never had any experiences like this, and he's just standing there with his little dog. I think her name is Lily. She's a tiny little chihuahua,
Uh-huh.
and he's just holding her, and he's like, do you want coffee? It's so nice to meet you. Like, you can get coffee or a croissant or something. Like, I'll be in this room. You can meet me whenever you want.
Mhm.
It's just so laid back and chill. And me and my mom are standing there, like, holy shit, what does this mean? Like, what does this mean?
Yeah.
She goes into a different room, and then he ends up bringing her back in to be like, she has the role basically. Like, I'm offering you the role if you can
Wow.
come back in a month. and stay in Ireland for 4 months.
That's so
And
cool.
then I had to go to LA and wait the entire weekend for the studio to okay it, because he then was like, "Well, the studio's gonna be closed because it's gonna be the weekend, but you basically have to, well, we just have to check with them."
Mhm.
So I was still kind of in like a shocked state of being like, if they don't okay me, because I haven't really been in a lot, like they might not
Yeah.
want me to lead this movie.
Mhm.
So the whole time I'm in LA doing a 16-hour almost makeup test. Like, it was such a long makeup test. It took all day. I still didn't know if I would technically have the role. And then by the end of the night, they were like, yeah. And then I went home for a month, and then I lived in Ireland for 4 months.
That's so cool. That's really
Yeah.
cool. But also kind of stressful, like you said, because you're like, I have it, but do I really? Like, there's a slight chance that I might not get it. Obviously, like the confidence that Lee had probably gave you a little bit of security, but yeah,
Yeah.
I bet it was a little stressful, but also like super cool that you got to just fly to Ireland for a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah.
so random.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, because I'm sure that you were also just like, "Okay, I'm gonna be flying to" like you said, like, flying to another country, and then what? Like
then what?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's really cool that they filmed there too. I bet it was fun getting to film in another
Mhm.
country. Whenever you weren't on set, did you do anything fun there?
Yeah, I mean, I think we were there when it was like record-breakingly sunny outside. Like their entire summer was way more sunny than it usually is, because we go there, everyone's telling us it's going to rain every day. It was beautiful weather. Like I would sit outside and get sunburnt. It
Oh,
was
wow.
so hot out. When I had weekends off, I would go to this little crepe shop and I would get breakfast and then I would walk around. There's a bookstore right across from the apartment I was staying in. Me and my mom, we lived on literally like on the seaside. Like you could walk less than 5 minutes and it's just the ocean. And there was like an ice cream parlor and all of these restaurants. If you drove like 20 minutes, there was this cute little like coastal town. It was really fun. We would kind of just like wander on the weekends and go shopping. There was a smoothie place that I really liked, and there was so many good restaurants. Like I was kind of worried that the food might be like how people say the food in London isn't really good.
Yeah.
But it was so good. I don't think I had anything that I didn't like.
What do you say is like was your favorite?
I started out with the fish and chips. Like any restaurant we would go to, I would
Um,
get that and a Guinness. But they would get like, I love Guinness. It's so good.
Yeah.
When they put I think it's black currant in there, it
Ooh.
makes it so much sweeter because I can't drink it without that.
Yeah.
I would get that. I would get fish and chips, a lot of seafood. Like I really love seafood,
Yeah.
and it was always so good because we were right on the seaside.
Right, yeah, anytime I travel next to the ocean, I'm like, "We're not eating anything but seafood, because why would you? I mean, it's right there. Okay, so I did wanna ask you about, like, a specific scene that you filmed and asked if you had a stunt double for it, but since you said that you did all of your own stunts, correct?
All but I wasn't allowed to do 2 because of safety issues, so I had a stunt double. She's wonderful, but I wasn't allowed to fall into the coffin, and I wasn't allowed to fall out of it because they
Okay.
thought that I could hurt myself.
Yes, okay, that makes sense. I do remember that scene. It's, like, whenever the grandma is passed, correct? And they're in the
Yeah.
living room, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, mhm.
Okay. So then maybe let's just talk a little bit about what it was like doing your own stunts. Cause I know that you said that this like kind of this role pushed what your limits and like what you knew that you could do. So
Yeah.
what was it like training for these scenes? Did it feel better knowing that you were the one doing the stunts?
Yes, I mean, I would say if I hadn't, then I probably would have felt a lot less connected to the character because
Mhm.
it's just such a heavy part of Katie
Yeah.
and her storyline. I remember the first time I met with the stunt team, they were like, okay, you're going to get in a harness and we have to practice your balance so that you can then learn to crawl on the ceiling because that's going to take about a couple weeks to learn.
Yeah.
I was like, huh? What? It's like I didn't know that I was doing that for
Yeah.
sure. Like I was scared of heights and now I'm not because they would rig everything up and just like shoot me into the air and I would have to be upside down doing these crazy stunts. And they would change stuff sometimes and I would go to rehearsals on the weekends while we were filming and they would rig it in the actual, 'cause it was a huge full-sized house within a warehouse, like within a studio. So we would practice the different stunts if we wanted to change anything over the weekends. It was really fun. It started out with a lot of just like choreographing the fights. The
Mhm.
initial fight with the grandma went through so many different changes. There was one that I wish we could have kept because I learned how to do a back bend off of the door. I end up shutting the door and she can't find me,
Huh.
and it would have panned and I would have like literally like contortioned my body to do like kind of like a flip and then start crawling towards her. But it taught me so much, and I figured that I can like do a lot more crazy stuff than I thought I could.
Right. I remember I know that we had talked about it earlier in the interview as well, but the scene where she's on the bed and then she has to do like the back contorting
Yeah,
with
the
your
back
back.
bend, the D.
Yes.
It's called a D pose in yoga.
Oh,
I've been doing yoga for a really long time. So when
yeah.
they told me I had to do that, I was like, okay, this should be that hard. And then they ended up, because I was originally supposed to have a harness on to kind of help me get into that shape. Yeah, it was easier for me to bend even more without it. So they were like, okay, that saves us time. Natalie doesn't even need a harness. She can just bend like that.
Yeah.
It's definitely not good to that pose for a long time,
Yes.
but it was so much easier to do without the harness because think about like there's about 8 different lines that are attached to the ceiling and the sides of the walls that
Right.
are kind of restraining me
Yes.
and keeping me from bending all the way back like that. But that was super fun.
Yeah. I remember when I was rewatching it and I was like, dang, if she did that herself, that's crazy. I mean, that's really cool that you were able to do all that yourself. And then now you have like the confidence to go into other films and productions that you will get in the future with that, because I'm sure that's going to help you so, so much.
Yeah, it's definitely taken a lot of stress off because I feel just a lot more prepared going into anything else I'm filming in the future. And then also if there's any stunts, like I can do them myself and I always try to like make people aware of that. Like
Yeah.
I would like to do my own stunts because I'm
Yes.
trained.
Yeah. You can just show them any clip from that movie and just say, girl, I got this. Don't even worry about it. Yeah.
Don't even worry about it.
Yeah. Okay, so were you able to keep anything from set? Because that is something that I was really curious about. Yeah?
Yeah, it's up in my closet. I wish I brought it down. I
Oh,
have
that's
a
okay.
fire poker from when I'm stabbing my leg in
Mm,
the Oh,
yes.
I
Okay.
kept that. It has fake blood all over it
Uh-huh.
still because they had 2. I wish they would have let me kept the one that had the blood packet that was attached to the top
Mm.
because then it looks like blood's coming out of my leg.
Yes.
That was a really cool gag. I really liked the practical effects that they used. And then I have my sweatsuit that I wear the first scene where they bring me home,
Okay.
in the wheelchair.
Uh-huh.
Trying to think. I have a bunch of posters and stuff. The lighting crew made t-shirts that have me like this kind of like hanging above all of them, and I begged them for one. So I have one of those. They gave us water bottles, like really fancy Yeti water bottles.
Ooh,
They
nice.
say the mummy on them. And then the first day of filming, they gave me Blumhouse gave me a mug that says the mummy and it says Katie on it.
That's so cool. Do you still use that?
Yeah, I do. I
Yeah.
used it last night because I drink tea every night, so
Mhm. That's really cool. I'm glad that you were able to keep stuff from the project, because I've heard that some people will like sneak stuff, but the fact that they were actually able to like say, "No, you can have it." So then you feel
yeah.
like I can talk about it and not get in trouble.
Yeah, no, they were super great about all of that.
That's awesome. Okay, so to wrap this up, I have one final question. And this is totally just like your speculations. So just answer it however you see fit.
Okay.
But do you feel like the Evil Dead universe and the Mummy universe could overlap or exist in the same, universe at all?
I feel like they could. I had no prior knowledge of Evil Dead before. I think I watched Lee's Evil Dead the
Mhm.
night before I met him in person because I was like, crap, I need to research. I need to know my shit.
Yes.
Um, but it was crazy. And also, I've seen videos online where people are like, there's Easter eggs within the mommy that
Mhm.
nod to Evil Dead Rise. So
Right.
I think that they're very and I feel like he himself has said that they could be connected.
Yes.
So I feel like if he's saying it, then it has to be true.
Right.
But I would love to see a crossover at some point. I think that could be crazy.
Yeah. No, I agree completely. Because I feel like some gripes with it was that it was too similar, but
To Evil
I
Dead, yeah.
loved that. Like, I thought that it was
I know.
cool, and, it helped showcase, like, this is Lee's strong work, and his, like, strong suits. I think that if it could be in the same universe, then that would just be, like, a big, like, whatever, because it is, like, oh, well. But yeah, I feel like it would be really cool if they could do some sort of a crossover with the 2 worlds or somehow conjoin them because, like, even just the way that they go about talking about the entity that's taking over Katie, and
It's similar.
yes, yes, it has, like, a similar vibe to it, and so I feel like if it's got that, it's gotta be, you know?
I mean, the scene where, the dad is talking to the professor and he's
Yes.
playing that tape, I
Exactly.
was like, "Is this not this is so this is so on purpose."
Yes.
So I really didn't understand why people were, like, mad at that,
Yeah,
or they were, like, not liking that it was similar. I
right.
feel like artistically, that is just his vibe, and
Exactly.
it's good,
Yeah, I
and it
agree too.
matches, and you can build upon it.
I agree. I gave this movie 5 stars, so I love it so much, and it's one of my favorite films of 2026.
My god.
Yeah, I dig this movie so, so bad. And the execution of it was really great. I feel like whenever like, go to see a horror movie, it has all of the elements that I want to see in a horror film. It has, like, the heart behind it, the story, and the gore, and it's all well executed, and the fact that there's, like, a lot of practical effects and that you did all of the stunts and everything, it gives the film such a heart, and, that's why I loved it so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that because I feel the same way. So it's nice when people see that maybe aren't within the industry.
Yeah.
Like it's good that that's come across.
Yeah, I really feel like Lee does a great job of writing out family dynamics and,
He does.
yeah, like, with Evil Dead Rise, I gave that film 5 stars as well, and I think that because of how he writes families and especially female characters, it's just, like,
Yeah.
it's so good, but
Yeah.
everybody likes different things, but I enjoyed it very much.
Thank you. I'm so glad.
Yeah, of course.